this. So let's talk more with our DC correspondent, because once again, President Biden campaigned as a seasoned expert in international relations, but now the president is facing major criticism, I said, for his handling of Afghanistan, the Taliban taking over. That is happening very rapidly, and the U.S. approved sending an additional 1,000 troops. Once again, our D.C. correspondent, Bofta Yimam, joins us now with the questions spiraling out of D.C. from Congress to protesters on the streets. Good morning, Bofta.
Good morning, Mike. Yeah, Congress wants to know what many Americans are wondering this morning. Why weren't there contingency plans in place for the evacuation? And also, how could the administration's intelligence so poorly misjudge really what's happening there and how quickly this collapse could happen? Meanwhile, here in D.C. over the weekend, many folks took to the streets.
The fact of the matter is, had the president decided to keep forces in Afghanistan beyond May 1st, attacks would have resumed on our forces. The Taliban had not been attacking our forces or NATO during the period from which the agreement was reached to May 1st. The offensive you're seeing across the country now to take these provincial capitals would have commenced, and we would have been back at war with the Taliban. And I'd probably be on this program today explaining why we were sending tens of thousands of American forces back into Afghanistan and back to war.
You know, I think the Secretary's been devoid of reality this whole time. Since the decision was made in May, I think it's an unmitigated disaster of epic proportions. And I think the president, this is going to be a stain on this president and his presidency. And I think he's going to have blood on his hands for what they did.
Now, the president right now is on summer vacation, actually, at Camp David, but we have heard that he is reportedly receiving regular briefings. He's on video conference calls, monitoring the situation there and making decisions like adding 1,000 additional troops. So the total amount of troops, Mike, will be about 6,000 troops, all focused on the evacuation of personnel along with allies who have been there to support the mission. He has faced backlash for the handling of this, mainly looking at the strategy. And I think it's interesting, too, when he will deliver remarks, Mike, because he has not at this point talked about the crisis and presented a formal, speech or so forth from the White House. We're told that he'll be leaving on Wednesday from Camp David and then would deliver the remarks at the White House. Of course, due to optics here, I think they're also considering that, being that he is at Camp David.
Yeah, a lot of people are looking at his words that he had a couple of months ago talking about the security forces in place there, and he did not think, and a lot of people didn't think, that the Taliban would be able to take over so quickly. But both as I mentioned before, former presidents like Barack Obama, Donald Trump actually wanted to leave Afghanistan too. Trump had the deadline in May. So what pushed Biden to keep the August 31st deadline?
Well, he was really looking at American support. In late July, a poll even showed that 55% of Americans approved of his handling of withdrawal of the troops. And as you mentioned, even talking with Shannon there, I heard earlier the number of presidents who have decided not to move forward. He is the fourth president really taking over what is happening in Afghanistan in terms of the American presence there. And he has said he will not pass this on to a fifth president. But the cost here, when folks are looking at it, and the strategy that he deployed is right now in question, and the fact that the Taliban are taking over so quickly. What will this mean in terms of possible future terrorist threats when it comes to al-Qaeda gaining more ground, and how that could impact the U.S.? And so those are things that now officials are looking into. Is really, what is this overarching? What could this mean beyond Afghanistan? Even if we do, right, get those troops in, let's say we do get the personnel out, which is probably what the Taliban is saying. Yes, go on, get out so they can have the full takeover. So this is not something that, I think happened overnight. This is something where the Taliban saw several years ago with the American troops withdrawing and started to make sure they had a plan in place. And I will say this, others have said in the president's defense that, look, if the collapse happened this quickly after 20 years on the ground there, then would another 6 months or year make a difference? And I know you served as well, and you're observing this also with your own background, and you know what it's like to be on the ground overseas, and how so much time was dedicated to being there in Afghanistan, Mike.
Yeah, over there for all those years of training the troops, and you brought up the terrorist aspect of things, and of course that was the reason why we were over there in the first place 20 years ago. And ironically, we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So you got to be thinking about the security aspect. You also got to be thinking about the terrorism aspect, and also how the treatment of women and young girls over there. They have promised that that won't be the case anymore, that they've changed their ways, but we shall see what happens. Bofta Yimam, as always, thank you for your time. Live in Washington, D.C. with the very latest on Afghanistan.